Okay, so we move on to chapter 13, Kshetra Kshetrajna Vibhaga Yoga. So, nature, the enjoyer, and the consciousness. So, what does Lord Krishna tell in this chapter? He's going to talk about Kshetra, as we can see the topic Kshetra, then Kshetrajna. Kshetra is the field, the body. Kshetrajna, the knower of the body, right? So, field is the body, and the soul is the knower of the body. The soul also knows the body, super soul also knows the body. Super soul knows all the bodies. Soul knows only one body, right? Our body. So the main topic is the discrimination between Kshetra and Kshetrajna. So that is why it is called Kshetra Kshetrajna Vibhaga Yoga, because we are trying to understand both Kshetra and Kshetrajna. For example, whenever the farmer is sowing, he is sowing the seed, right? He is sowing the rice paddy in the field. So what will he get in the field? He will only harvest rice paddy, right? He will not get maize, corn, or wheat or something like that. Similarly, whatever we are sowing, whether we are doing good action, bad thoughts, good thoughts, we will sow in this body, in this mind, in this field, right? That is what we will get as a result. That is our destiny. Whether if we sow good actions, we will get good results, good destiny. So we are going to cover Arjuna's 6 questions. Lord Krishna describes Kshetra, Kshetrajna, Jnana, Jnayam, Prakriti, Purusha, union, and we are also going to see the vision of knowledge. Okay, so let's read this first to understand what it is all about. Yes, Aishwarya Mataji, can you please read this?
Yes, Mataji. If bhakti is the culmination, end result, why is Gnana presented in the last 6 chapters?
That's the question we get, right?
Yeah.
If bhakti is what we are wanting, why 13 onwards, last 6 chapters are based on, jnana? Let's understand that. Yes, please.
In truth, the entire Bhagavadgita is bhakti. The first 6 chapters discuss how to achieve bhakti through work.
We have understood that. First 6 chapter, do your work, right? So we have understood that karma yoga and also first 6 chapter, how to achieve bhakti through work. Then see.
The last 6 describe how to achieve it through knowledge, and the middle 6 discuss bhakti itself.
Very easy, right? First 6, how to achieve bhakti. Bhakti is the center point, but how to achieve through work, how to achieve it through knowledge, and the middle is bhakti itself. Very nice, right?
Also, in the 12th chapter, Krishna explained how he personally delivers his devotees from birth and death.
Where it was very clear, yes.
So the last 6 chapters provide the philosophical knowledge necessary to free/disengage oneself from the material world. Yes. Jnana has its use in assisting our detachment from Maya and our attachment to Krishna. Hence, when we use knowledge as a means to attain devotion, it becomes a part of bhakti.
That is the most important part. Why are we trying to get jnana? Why are we trying to get knowledge? Because if we get some knowledge, we will understand that, okay, fine, now I have understood. So I should disengage myself from the material world and engage myself towards Lord Krishna, or detach from Maya and attach to Krishna. That is the reason we are using knowledge, so that we can get some kind of devotion. It becomes part of. That is the reason last 6 chapters are about how to attain bhakti through knowledge. Okay, so before we move on, there are some important words that we need to see. Prakriti, which is the material nature. What are the 3 gunas of material nature? Any idea? Anyone knows?
Sattva, Rajo, and Tama.
Very nice. Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas, mode of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of ignorance. So when we say guna is a Sanskrit word. It means rope as such. But in English, when you have to translate it, it's loosely translated as the mode. So Sattva, Guna, Rajas is goodness, passion, and ignorance. Very good. Next is Purusha, the enjoyer of Prakriti, right? It's the soul, the living entity as such. And Kshetra, that's the body. Then Kshetrajna is one who is observing the body, in the body, the soul and the super soul, both are observing inside the body, right? They are knower of all. Super soul is the knower of all bodies. Then jnanam, knowledge, trying to understand the body and the soul. Then jnayam means what is the goal of knowledge? The goal of knowledge is to attain Paramatma. So the jnanam is the knowledge to understand both body, soul, super soul. Jnanam is what is your goal? Goal is to reach and understand Paramatma. Okay, let's see this. We start with first shloka. Arjuna uvacha paramam purusham chaiva kshetram kshetrajnameva cha etadveditumicchami jnanam jneyam cha Keshava. Keshava, he's asking Keshava, Arjuna is asking 6 questions he's asking. Let's see what. Yes, Aishwarya Mataji.
Arjuna said, "Oh my dear Krishna, I wish to know about the Prakriti, nature, Purushu, Purush, the enjoyer and the field, and the knower of the field, and of knowledge and the end of knowledge." The blessed Lord then said, "This body, O son of Kunti, is called the field, and one who knows this body is called the knower of the field."
Yes. So Arjuna was very curious to understand. He asked these questions. He said, Krishna, what is Prakriti? What is it? Nature, the Prakriti. Then Purusha, who is it? God, the enjoyer. Kshetra, what is that? Body, is it? The field? Then Kshetrajna, what is that? Is it soul, super soul? And knowledge. Knowledge about what, Krishna? So, about to understand body, soul, super soul. What is the goal of all getting all this knowledge, right? He's asking all these questions. So, 6 questions he's posing. Prakritim, what is Prakriti? Purusham, who is Purusha? Kshetram, what is Kshetrajna? He's asking all these questions. Jnanam, Jnayam, what is all this? What is the goal of all this knowledge? Keshava. Keshava is Krishna. So what does Krishna says? Idam chariram kaunteya kshetramitya vidhiyate etadveti tam prahu kshetrajna iti tadvitaha. So when he asked all this, Krishna said, see, Arjuna, this body, it's called the field, Kshetra. And the one who knows the body, he is the knower of the full, right? Kshetrajna. So he starts to explain now, Lord Krishna, the distinction. He's giving the distinction. What is the difference between the body and the spirit, soul, and all? He says, soul is divine. Soul cannot eat, right? Soul cannot eat, soul cannot see, soul cannot smell, it cannot hear, it cannot taste, it cannot do anything, soul. That is why Kshetrajna, the knower of the field of the body, it knows what the body is. The soul is distinct from the body, mind, intellect mechanism, right? But what happens is it's pure, it's divine in nature, but it forgets. When it comes with the material nature, it identifies with these material stuff, material entities. And then because it has the knowledge of this body, it has the knowledge. It's called Kshetrajna because it knows the body. Who is Purusha?
Enjoyer of Prakriti.
Yes, very good. What is Jnayam? Jnanam is knowledge, okay? Jnanam means knowledge. What is Jnayam?
Object of
Object of knowledge. Very good. And Kshetrajna, Jnanam, Jnayam. So Jnayam is object of knowledge. Yes, please, Aishwarya Mataji. You please continue, Aishwarya Mataji, because you are the only one who has raised hands.
Okay, Mataji. O scion of Bharta, you should understand that I am also the knower in all bodies, and to understand this body and its knower is called knowledge. That is my opinion. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. The soul, you can see in the picture, you can see the soul, right? There is a soul and a super soul. Soul will know, my soul will know my body, right? Whatever I am doing, my soul knows what I'm doing. Now, Aishwarya Mataji's soul will know her body activities. It will not know my body activities because her soul is her soul, my soul is my soul, right? So that is how it happens. You can see both soul and super soul in the picture. The soul knows about that particular body, but I will not know, my soul will not know what Aishwarya Mataji's body is doing, body activities, right? So soul's knowledge of its body is incomplete because it knows only about this body and not the other body. Only God is the knower of all the fields of all the souls. How? Because he's situated as supreme soul, super soul, in heart of all living beings. He appears as if he is divided into all the souls, but he is undivided. He is one. He is the supreme soul. He knows what is happening in Aishwarya Mataji's mind and what is happening in my mind. That super soul knows, right? And God's knowledge of each kshetra or body, it's perfect. It's complete. There is no question about it. He knows all the bodies. He knows all the fields of all the souls, as he is the super soul in all the living beings. So Lord Krishna has created, he has established the position of these three entities. What are the three entities and the relationship with each other? One is the body, one is the soul, and the supreme soul. So each one has body, soul, supreme soul. My soul knows my body. I will not know Aishwarya Mataji's body activities, right? My soul will not know. But the super soul of Aishwarya Mataji's and my super soul will know every activity of every soul. That is the, I hope it's clear. What is the difference between we Kshetrajna and God Kshetrajna?
We know only
We
our
know
body,
only our
and
body, and
God
God
knows
knows all
all
bodies
bodies
of
of
God
all
knows all
living
bodies of all living
all
entities. Yes, correct. Absolutely right. Yes, please. Juma Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. The five great elements, false ego, intelligence, the unmanifested, the 10 senses, the mind, the five sense objects, desire, hatred, happiness, distress, the aggregate, the life symptoms, and convictions, all these are considered, in summary, to be the field of activities and its interactions. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. You can see there are total 24 elements. Okay. So among 24 elements, let's divide. So 24 elements, we have five Pancha Mahabhuta. What are those elements? Gross body. What is gross body made up of? Five elements. What are those five elements? You can read from the screen. It's earth, ether, air, water, fire. That's the gross body made up of, right? These are Pancha Mahabhutas. Then what else we have? We have five sense objects also. What are those five sense objects? Taste, touch, the smell, the sight, and the sound, right? So those are Panch Tanmatras. Then we have five working senses. What are those working senses? The voice, the hand, the legs, the genitals, and the anus. Then we have five knowledge senses also. What are those knowledge senses? Eyes, ears, nose, tongue, skin, right? Then we also have mind, intellect, ego, and prakriti, right? So these are all together 24 in number. Here, Lord Krishna, what is he using? He is saying Dash Aikam Cha. Indriyani Dash Aikam Cha Panchachendriya Gochara. He says Mahabhutanya Hankaro Buddhiravyaktameva Cha Indriyani Dash Aikam Cha Panchachendriya Gochara. Dash Aikam to indicate there are 11 senses overall, and he is including the mind along with those five knowledge senses, five working senses. He's using all these along with it. So what is body? Body is a representation of all these factors. There are so many factors, right? And there are six kinds of changes happening in the body. What is happening in six in number? First, the body is born, then body grows, and the body stays like that. Then it has byproducts like children happen. Then slowly it begins to decay, and then it dies, disappears, vanishes. So the field, the body, it is non-permanent is what, and it's a material thing. That is what Lord is trying to tell. It is completely material. It is not permanent. It's non-permanent, temporary. But Kshetrajna, that is the knower of the field, the soul and the super soul. The super soul, its proprietor, that is different. It is not temporary. But we are so absorbed, so much attached to these modes of material nature. We are thinking that we are enjoying in this dukkhalem ashashvatam, but reality is not same. It is very different. We are in dukkhalem ashashvatam. We need to get away from that. That's what we have to understand. How many elements are there in the field of activity?
24.
24. Yeah.
24.
Correct. Okay. So now you see in this picture, there is, you can see, as you can see in this on the screen, the man is hanging from that branch of the tree, right? Suppose he falls into that pond, what will happen? Anyone?
Snakes will
Snakes
bite
will bite him.
snakes.
Yeah. And on the branch, you can see 2 rats. The rats are biting him, right? And then on the top of that branch, you can see there is a nest, honey nest. Honey is dripping, few drops of honey is coming, but even honeybees are trying to sting him. There is an elephant, mad elephant, he's trying to pull the tree down. You can see the elephants pulling, rats are biting. The honey is dripping, but the honeybees are also stinging him. Left side, leftmost, you can see Lord. He's extending his hand. He's saying, come, beta, come to me. Get away from all this. There is all danger all around you. What are you doing? You're trapped in Maya. Come, I'm there for you. But we are so busy. Wait, God, wait. There are 2 drops of honey falling down. Let me taste that. After that, I will see. But that desire never ends. Desire continues. One more drop is falling. Wait. It's never going, it's never ending. Whether we are being stung by bees, fall down. Some Vaishnava acharyas say, you know what this represents is, elephant represents our past karmas, it's pulling us behind what we did in the past. Snake, it represents our future karma. If we fall, what will happen? And then some Vaishnava acharyas say that the tree branch, it represents life. And white and black rats represent day and night, eating away our present life. And the honeycomb, it's Maya. That's the material life, the honey dripping, right? And Mahavishnu, he's extending his heart as super soul. He's saying, come to me, look within. See, I am there for you. I will release you from this Maya, from this cycle of misery of rebirth. But we are so engrossed, so much attached to dripping that honey so much, that nectar is coming. We are failing to see the extended hand that the super soul or Mahavishnu is extending, right? So we have to understand, we have to read Bhagavadgita as it is and try to understand what it's trying to say, read between the lines and apply in our life, in our daily practical life, right? And then we will be able to take one step towards getting away from this cycle of birth and death, right? What Lord Krishna told, 4 things he told in chapter 9. What did he say? He said, Man mana bhava mad bhakto, be my, engage your mind thinking of me. Man mana, man jo hai mere mein lagao. Mad bhakto, be my devotee, right? Bhakto, me, become my devotee. Madhya jimam namaskuru, pay obeisance to me, worship me, right? Mame vaishyasi yuktvayavam atmanam matparayana, be absorbed in me, you will definitely come to me. But that is what we don't do. So let's see further. Yes, please. Sonali Mataji, you have to read this.
Yes. Humility, pridelessness, non-violence, tolerance, simplicity, approaching a bona fide spiritual master, cleanliness, steadiness, self-control, renunciation of the objects of sense gratification, absence of false ego, the perception of the evil of birth, death, old age, and disease, detachment, freedom from entanglement with children, wife, home, and the rest. Even-mindedness amid pleasant and unpleasant events. Constant and unalloyed devotion to me. Aspiring to live in a solitary place. Detachment from the general mass of people. Accepting the importance of self-realization and philosophical search for the absolute truth. All these I declare to be knowledge, and besides this, whatever there may be is ignorance. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So we beginning from practicing humility to the point of realizing the God. We have different, this process is like a staircase, there are different steps. We begin with humility, beginning from, you say, ground floor, and then going up to the top floor, which is abode of Krishna. Now on this stage, there are so many people, right? Some may have reached the first floor, some may have reached the second floor, some may third floor, but unless and until we reach the top floor, which is understanding of Krishna, we are still in the lower stage of knowledge, right? So we need to understand that. So whoever wants to compete with God, and at the same time we want to make advancement and say, oh, okay, I know what God is, I will reach the top floor. No, you will be frustrated, right? You cannot advance in spiritual knowledge unless and until you have humility, and it's not possible to understand God. So we are always being kicked by this Maya all the time. But still we think we are the doer, I should get the credit, everything is under my control. Because of ignorance. This is all happening because we are ignorant. So when does the beginning of knowledge comes? When we say amanitvam adam vitvam. Amanitvam means humility. Once we are humble, we know we have subordinate position, lower than God, then we start it, the knowledge starts dawning in us, right? So because it's very important, let's see in detail. This is what we need to get into spiritual life. If we want to be in spiritual, these are the qualities we need. So let's see these 20 points that we need to understand. Okay. So let's see. Surekha Mataji, you have to read this humility, and Aishwarya Mataji, you read the green part, not to be anxious.
Yes, Mataji.
Humility.
Not to be anxious, to have satisfaction of being honored.
Pridelessness.
Understanding you are not the body, and thus honor and dishonor are the same.
Non-violence.
Unless one elevates people to spiritual knowledge, one is practicing violence.
Tolerance.
Be practiced to bear insults and dishonors from others.
Simplicity.
So straightforward that you can disclose the truth even to an enemy.
Accepting a spiritual master.
This is essential.
Cleanliness.
Bathing externally, chanting internally.
Steadiness.
Determined to make progress in spiritual life.
Self-control.
Reject anything unfavorable to spiritual advancement. Control the senses.
Renunciation of sense objects.
Not to cater to unnecessary demands, gratified only to keep body fit for survival.
Absence of false ego.
Reject I am this body or mind, accept that I am Krishna's servant.
Perceptions of evil.
Regularly hear about these from the proper source. Become disguised with material life.
Detachment.
Be ready to sacrifice everything for Krishna.
No entanglement with wife, children, family, etc.
Should practice it if you can do it in a Krishna conscious way, but renounce if unfavorable for Krishna consciousness.
Even-mindedness.
Not elated or distressed at material gain or loss by performing unbreakable devotional service.
Unalloyed devotional service.
Engaging oneself in the 9 processes of bhakti.
Aspiring to live in a solitary place.
Not desiring to mix with materialistic people, live in the association of devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so
Hare
much.
Krishna.
Both of you read so beautifully. So 18th one is you have to detach from general mass of people. And 19th is like accept the importance of self-realization. And 20th is search for absolute truth. Where is it? What is it? All these things. Lord Krishna says, I declare that this is the knowledge you should get. And whatever else is there, it is completely understand to be that it is ignorance. So what is the knowledge we are getting? It is to develop these 20 qualities that is mentioned in Gita from 13.8 shloka to 13.12 shloka. So we have got some knowledge as to how to move in a spiritual path, right? We have to understand soul, the super soul, material nature, what all qualities, first of all, we need in ourselves, right? These 20 qualities have to be developed in us. Let's see. What is knowledge?
developing 20 qualities which are mentioned in Bhagavad Gita.
Yes, correct. Very good. Yes, please. Juma Mataji, Hare Krishna.
I shall now explain the knowledge, knowing which you will taste the eternal Brahman, the spirit, beginningless and subordinate to me, lies beyond the cause and effect of this material world. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So what is Lord Krishna telling in this verse? He is talking about the Brahman aspect. So day and night, if we see day and night, they are like two sides of the same coin, right? One cannot exist without the other. We can say that it is day in one place only if the night is also falling in that place, right? If there is no night, definitely there is not going to be any day also in that place. Similarly, what happens? Brahman in its formless and attribute featureless, it's the object of worship for the jnanis worship on Brahman aspect, and bhakta yogis, bhaktas, they have Bhagavan. They need that object of worship is personal form of God, which is Bhagavan. So see, who is residing within us? Within us, super soul, supreme soul is the four-handed Narayana form, Paramatma, right? So these are all three manifestations: Brahman aspect, Paramatma, Bhagavan. All these are three expressions of the same God, same supreme reality, three different manifestations, right? In later in this next chapter, I think Lord says, Brahmano hi pratishtaham amritasya vyayasya cha shashvatasya dharmasya sukhasya ikantikasya. He says, I am the basis of the formless Brahman. He says, I am first Brahman. I am the basis of formless Brahman, then Paramatma, then Bhagavan. So formless Brahman and personal form of God, they are both the aspects of supreme reality, only says Lord Krishna. Yes, please, Sonali Mataji.
The super soul is the original source of all senses, yet he is without senses. He is unattached, although he is the maintainer of all living beings. He transcends the modes of nature, and at the same time, he is the master of all modes of material nature. Hare
Krishna. So he's saying that Lord Krishna is stating he is sustaining the whole creation, right? He has made everything, he has done everything, he has created everything, but he's away from it. He's detached from it. He has nothing to do with it. He has created, that's it. So in his Vishnu Rupa, what is God doing? He's maintaining the whole creation, and he sits in the heart of all the living entities. What is he doing sitting inside? Okay, what has Aishwarya Mataji done? Oh, she has done that good deed. Okay, fine, good point. Let me note it down. So he's noting down. He's noting down all our karmas. And then accordingly he gives the result. There is nothing he is doing. He's just noting down the karma according. We may not know even fraction of a second what we have done, but he notes down everything. Even if by thought also we have thought something wrong about someone, he has noted it down. We may think we haven't done anything. I didn't do anything wrong. We say that, but we have thought something wrong. So that also is noted. So he's noted. He will see everything. He knows our present. He knows our past, the present, future. He's sitting in the hearts of everyone. He's noting down the karmas, giving the results accordingly. He's living in the hearts of all the beings, right? And he knows what we have done in the past, what we are actually doing now, and what is while sitting in the class also, if you are thinking something, he knows everything. And what is awaiting for us in the future also he knows. So under Lord Vishnu's territory, what is Lord Brahma doing? He's controlling the laws of material science to ensure what? That this whole material world should work properly, right? An industry has to work stably. Everyone has to do his or her own job. So the manager's job or the Lord's job is, Lord Brahma's job is to make sure that everyone is doing their duty. And under Lord Vishnu's territory, the heavenly gods, what do? They are making sure that everybody is getting the air, the water, the earth. There is earth and then rain, and then everything is happening properly, systematically, which is necessary for our survival. So God is making sure that he is the sustainer of all, right? He is complete in himself, but he is detached. He doesn't need anything from us or for anything. He is complete, but he is detached also. Vedas also mention him as Atmaram. Atmaram means one who is rejoicing in himself. He has no need for anything external. At the same time, he is nirguna. Nirguna means he is beyond all the three gunas. Sattva guna, rajoguna, tam. He is beyond that. He is above all that. He is divine. We are made with material things, right? He is not. He is divine. He is Satchit Ananda Vigraha. Lord Brahma says, right? 5.1 shloka. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadiradi Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam. He is Satchit Ananda. He is full of opulences. He is the proprietor of everything. He is the owner of everything. He is the most intelligent. He is having absolute knowledge. So this is the some of the symptoms of the Lord Krishna, right? He is maintainer of all living entities, and he witnesses everything that we are doing, every second, millisecond. Yes, please, Aishwarya Mataji.
He is the source of light in all luminous objects. He is beyond the darkness of matter and is unmanifested. He is knowledge. He is the object of knowledge, and he is the goal of knowledge. He is situated in everyone's heart. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So super soul. He is in everyone's heart, right? He is the supreme personality of God. He is the source of light in all luminous objects like sun, the moon, the stars, right? In Vedic literature, we find that in the spiritual kingdom, even next in coming chapter, we'll come to see. In the spiritual kingdom, you don't need any electricity. There is no electricity bill that you have to pay over there. There is no need for sun. There is no need for moon also, right? Natad bhasayate suryaha na shashanko na pavaka. So yadgatva na nivartante tadhama paramam mama. There is no need for any sun, nothing in that spiritual world, because Lord's effulgence is so much so that you don't need anything. So Lord confirms his supremacy. He says, see, like, let's say in a factory also, there is a CEO. The CEO, the top one, he is the whole and soul, right? And then he will employ managers under him. And then managers will get certain powers. Like, for example, a manager will get, okay, you can hire somebody, or you can purchase something from outside, or you can do some marketing, some powers are given to these managers, right? Similarly, there are various illuminating objects in this world, like sun, moon, stars, and all. If you leave them alone, they don't have the power to illuminate. But when God is imparting the powers to them, then they can illuminate anything and everything. So this super soul, this Lord, he is in everyone's heart as supreme controller. And he is the supreme personality of Godhead. He is the super soul. He is the Prabhu, right? He is the master of all the living entities. So he is the ultimate shelter that we need to take to, right? So there is no denying the fact that super soul, the supreme super soul, and the individual soul, they are always different. They cannot be same. These are the qualities. From these qualities we can make out. Yes, please, Juma Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Thus, the field of activities, the body, knowledge, and the knowable, who have been summarily described by me, only my devotees can understand these thoroughly and thus attain to my nature. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Very nicely, Lord Krishna wants to finish his story. Okay, fine. I'm coming. Summarily, I've described this, about the description of the field, the body, and the object of knowledge. I have told you, right? And the mentioning, I'm telling you what is going to happen, mentioning the fruit also of understanding this topic. I have told you everything. But once again, he's bringing devotion into it. He says, only my devotees will understand this true knowledge. Everybody won't be able to understand. It's not that easy to, understand. Those who are practicing karma yoga, jnana yoga, ashtanga yoga, all these, but they don't have bhakti involved in it, they will not be able to understand the importance of Bhagavad-Gita, even though they may think that they have understood. So bhakti is the essential ingredient in all the paths leading to the knowledge of God. Unless, like, for example, like salt. You make dal, sabzi, roti, everything, whatever you make, you forget the salt part. Your family members will say, swad hi nahi tha khane mein. That salt is the main ingredient over here. That bhakti is the main ingredient over here. If you don't put sugar in, you are making a sweet, but you're not adding sugar in it. That main ingredient is not there. You're trying everything, but the main ingredient is not there, right? So bhakti is the main ingredient. Any path you choose, whatever path leading towards Lord, you can take up any path, but add devotion to it. Then you will able to achieve. So what have we understood so far? Number one, there is no personality like God. Number two, there is no path like the path of devotion. Bhakti is the main important path. Number three, there is no person, human, equal to Guru. And there is no permanent scripture that can be compared to with Gita. So no personality like God, no path equal to devotion, no person equal to Guru, and no permanent scripture that can be compared with. This is what we have understood so far. Yes, please. Sonali Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Material nature and the living entities should be understood to be beginningless. Their transformation and the modes of matter are products of material nature. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So now what is Maya? Maya is also energy of God. It has been existing since it has been existing since eternally, long back. So it's eternal, right? It has existed ever since he has existed. So it is eternal. Next, soul. What is soul? Soul is also eternal. So here it is called Purusha, the living entity, while God himself is Parama Purusha. So the supreme living entity. So what is what is soul? We know, everyone knows. Mame Vamsho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. Soul is part and parcel of the Lord. Both living entities, material nature, the Prakriti, both have been existing since when cosmos was manifested, when God decided, okay, let's start. Since then they are existing. So the transformation that takes place is the 6 stages, right? As we had discussed before, the body passes through the lifetime. In one lifetime, what does the body pass through? One, asti, which is first we are in the womb of a mother. Then jayate means birth takes place. Then vardhate, growth, the body grows. Then prajanan means procreation, babies. Then what happens? Apakshiyate means what? Shrinking, goes down. Then vinashyati, the death. These are the 6 processes that first we take in the womb, then birth, then what happens? We grow, then we procreate, then we shrink, and then we die. So material nature, it creates 3 modes of nature, right? We know, everyone knows Sattva-guna, Rajoguna, Tamoguna. And then there is countless varieties of combination in everyone, which we'll be understanding in the next chapter. Yes, please, Aishwarya Mataji.
Nature is said to be the cause of all material activities and effects, whereas the living entity is the cause of the various sufferings and enjoyments in this world. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, out of so many millions of living entities, like how many? 8.4 million species, right? We have here in this material world. Soul can get any body, right? It gets the body according to our past karma, whatever we have done. So then once we take that body, we start identifying with that body. If I take a dog body, I will identify with dog body. If I take the body of a cat, I will identify with the cat. If I take the body of a devata, I will identify with that body, right? And then I will start enjoying the bodily pleasures accordingly, whichever body I take. The world is sustained by God, right? It has created this Maya. There is all Maya, which is unreal, and it gives misery to the soul, right? So we are only responsible for our karmas, for our sadness, for our happiness. We should not blame God for anything. So every time we should try to remain balanced, whatever may happen in our life. So what is the solution? How do we get out of all this? We keep chanting, take the name of God. Then what is the use? We may ask. Chanting, what does it do is, it will nullify our karma. Whatever karmas are there, good, bad, at least not good but bad, it nullifies our karma, then Krishna will help us. If not, what will happen is he may have some other plan for us. If it doesn't nullify, means he's having a better plan for us. He's maybe saying, okay, get through this, finish off your karma. So once we are placed in one kind of a body, we come under the control of Maya. That's for sure. So at that time, what happens? We don't have the power to change any law, right? We don't have the power to change Maya. Suppose I'm put into the body of a dog, I start barking like a dog. And whenever I will act, I cannot act like a cat or a human being, right? So if I'm put in the body of a pig or a hog, I will go and get into the gutter. I will start eating that dirty thing, the stool, and act like a pig, like a hog, right? If I'm put it in the body of a devata, I will start acting according to that body. That's the law of nature. So in all these births of my dog, my hog, and my devata birth, in all these circumstances, the very kind, the very merciful, the super soul, he is always with that individual soul. He is always with me, whether I was in a dog, hog, or a demigod body. This is explained in Vedas. In Mundaka Upanishad, it is explained very nicely. Dva Suparna Sayujya Sakhya. Sakhya means what? The Supreme Lord is so kind upon the living entity that he's always accompanying the living soul, the individual soul, in whatever circumstances we may be. And it is present at super. Imagine I'm the pig and I'm in that gutter eating the stool and the super soul is still with me. I'm a small mosquito and the super soul is still with me. He is so merciful, you can imagine from that. He need not be, right? But he's with us all the time guiding us. We don't listen to it. That's the difference. Yes, Juma Mataji, Hare Krishna. Sonali, yes, Juma Mataji.
The living entity in material nature thus follows the ways of life, enjoying the three modes of nature. This is due to his association with that material nature. Thus, he meets with good and evil amongst various species. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So you can see so many species we may take, right? We can take the birth of any of it. So in previous verse, Lord Krishna had explained that soul is responsible for the experience of pleasure and pain, right? Whatever happens, good, bad, whatever happens. Now he's explaining how this is so, how this happens. Because our body is energized because of the soul, right? Otherwise, body is lifeless. If there is no soul, body is lifeless. So when soul is there, there is activity. We do action. And if the soul is not there, what will happen? There is no activity, no life. Body is made up of Maya. We start getting influenced by these three modes of Maya, mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. And we also have ego. And because of ego, what happens? This soul starts identify, I am the doer. Maine to sab kuch kiya, I should get the credit. I am the enjoyer of this body. My body should be this, that, everything we are taking care of the body. This body, mind, and intellect. These three team up together and they perform all the activities. Hum karenge na, we will do it. But who is responsible? The soul is held responsible for everything. Like, for example, bus has an accident. Okay. So I will blame the wheels, the tires, the steering wheel. I will blame all them. Is it right? If I blame the tires and the wheels and the steering wheel? Yes. Am I correct there?
No.
Who is to be blamed? The wheel, the tires and the steering wheel and all, right? The seats. Yes
No.
or no?
No.
Who is to be blamed?
The
Driver.
time and the
Driver.
situation.
The driver is answerable for any kind of accident that is going to happen to the bus, right? Similarly, the senses, the mind, the intellect, they are energized by the soul. They are working under its power. They are working. But the soul is the one that is accumulating the karmas. Even though the activities are performed by the body and all, right? Still, the whole stockpile of karmas, it is accumulated from innumerable past lives. And what happens? That is the cause of our repeated birth and death, right? We can sometimes go into an inferior womb, sometimes in the superior womb of a mother. It depends on what kind of karma we do. Yes, Sureka Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Yet in this body there is another, a transcendental enjoyer, who is the Lord, the supreme proprietor, who exists as the overseer and permitter, and who is known as the super soul. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, Lord explained about the soul within the body in the previous verse. In this verse, what he's going to explain is the position of Paramatma, the super soul. Soul, he has made us understand that what happens, who is responsible. We do anything, soul is accumulating the karmas. Here, Paramatma is residing in everyone's body, everyone. And he is located within all the living entities. And it is in Narayana form, Lord Vishnu. So, Supreme Lord, in his Lord Vishnu form, he is responsible for maintaining this creation. He is residing in the Kshir Sagar, the ocean of milk, and the causal ocean, right? And he also, other than doing all that job, he also expands himself. And he comes and resides in the heart of all living entities. See how merciful he is. He is the Paramatma. And inside, sitting within, he is noting down our karmas, he is noting down our actions, keeping the accounts of so much work he is doing. And then when the proper time comes, is okay, these are your marks out of 100, you have got this much. So accordingly, you are going to go in this body. So then he will, after telling the result, whatever body we are going to acquire, he is going to come along with us into that body continuously. Along with that individual soul, he will also accompany to whatever body we may acquire, get, receive in each lifetime. He is not going to hesitate even for a second in residing in the body of, whether we take a body of a mosquito, snake, pig, dog, cat, whatever. As you can see in the picture, two birds are seated in the nest, of the tree. And it's written in, I think, Mundaka Upanishad, right? Dwas Saparna Sayuja Sakhaya means what? They are both stated. They're sitting in the same tree. The Jivatma, the soul, and the individual soul. The individual soul is very busy eating the fruits of the tree, while the supreme soul, the other soul, it's watching. Kya kar rahe ho? Why are you doing? So when the fruit is very sweet, the individual soul is enjoying eating it. And when the fruit is bitter, it's sad. And the supreme soul is looking, come on, turn around, look at me. I am there with you. I'm going to extend my hand. Use my hand. Come, take it. I'm your friend. But he will witness it, does not interfere. I'm not going to tell you, you are eating sweet, bitter, whatever you're eating. I'm just a witness. He is watching. But if only the Jivatma can turn around to the Paramatma, all the miseries will come to an end, right? Because Jivatma, individual soul, has been given little bit of independence. It has the freedom to turn away from God, or it can turn towards God. That is the freedom it has got. But because we use improper, power, use of that free will, whatever little bit we have got, we don't use it properly. So we remain in this bondage of material world. And then what happens? If at all we can use the proper usage of this free will that God has given us, we will turn towards that Paramatma and we'll start to be his eternal servants, and we'll experience ultimate bliss actually. So what are the qualities of super soul? The qualities of super soul is he is the transcendental enjoyer. He is the proprietor. He is the witness, and he is the one who permits everything. So these are the qualities of the super soul. What are the two birds sitting on a tree compared to?
One is a soul who is eating fruit, and
See,
the other is a super soul who is witnessing it.
Correct. See, very nice.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, correct. Yes, please. Aishwari Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Again, they are those who, although not conversant in spiritual knowledge, begin to worship the Supreme Person upon hearing about him from others. Because of their transcendence to hear from authorities, they also transcend the path of birth and death. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Lord Parikshit, he asked Shukadev Goswami this question. He said, How can we purify these undesirable things that we have in our heart? Like we have Kam, Krodh, Moh, Lobh, Mad, Matsarya, lust, envy, greed, anger, or hatred. All this we have in our heart. How to purify, Lord? He asked Shukadev Goswami. So Shukadev Goswami replied to Parikshit. He said, just hear Lord's name. Just hear his descriptions. Just hear his pastimes. Just hear his leelas. Just hear everything that you, but hear from a saint. Then what will happen is, Cheto Darpana Marjanam. Your whole, it will cleanse your heart from whatever unwanted dirt it has accumulated from lifetimes. Right? That's what, even if we have not been into that kind of spiritual path, even if we can hear from somebody who is very a pure soul, you may still be able to get away from this and cleanse your heart from this dirt. So we have to understand that we have to live the same life, whatever life we are living. Just we have to change the boss. Right now, we think we are the boss. We have to make Krishna our boss, because he will guide us how to move on further. Yes, please, Juma Mataji, Hare Krishna.
One who sees the super soul equally present everywhere in every living being does not degrade himself by his mind. Thus he approaches the transcendental destination. Hare Krishna.
One who sees super soul equally present everywhere. Do you remember? We learned in 5th chapter. One who is learned, he sees super soul in everyone. Vidya Vinay Sampanne Brahmane Kavi Hastini Shunicha Evashvapa Kecha Panditas Samadarshinaha. We learned in 5.18 that one who has learned, he will see super soul in whether it is a gavi or an elephant or a dog. He will see God in everyone. So they no longer want, they are not beyond that personal gain. Am I gaining something? Am I getting, mere ko isse kya milega? Am I going to profit anything from others? They are not bothered. They are not attached to anyone. मैंने नेकी कर दरिया में डाल, they say in Hindi. You do good and then forget about it. So they do good to others, but they are not expecting anything out of it. They don't hate anyone. Somebody is scolding them, abusing them, doing wrong with them. They are not returning back that hatred, because they know karma will be created. They see everybody as a part of God. Okay, everybody is part of God. They have a healthy attitude, respect others, do service towards others. They are completely on a different platform. They have elevated themselves. They see God in every living being, right? So those devotees finally reach the supreme destination. But how to acquire that Gyan Chakshu? This is called Gyan Chakshu. The eye, EYE, the eye to see eye inside. It is how to understand that what are the elements of the body, what constituents, what is the difference between the body and the soul, how we can see super soul in everyone having the equal vision. How can we have sense control over our mind and over senses? So these are the things that will give us the Gyan Chakshu that we need to develop. According to Bhagavadgita 13.29, who advances to the spiritual world?
One who sees the
One
presence
sees
of
the
Supreme
presence of
Personality of Godhead everywhere.
Very nice. Yes. Yes, Sonali Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. One who can see that all activities are performed by the body, which is created of material nature, and sees that the self does not actually cease.
Yeah. So one who can see that all activities performed by the body. So ego, ego of being the body. Oh, this is my body. And, I am the doer. These two are the culprits, They trap the soul. They trap the soul into this cycle of life and death. In material consciousness, this ego identifies with the body, and we start thinking, I am the one who is doing it. I am teaching. I am the one teaching everything. I know everything. I am the doer. I am doing it. But the enlightened soul, if the soul gets enlightened, it will think in a different way. How? Even while I'm teaching, eating, drinking, sleeping, walking, whatever I may do, that soul will know, okay, it is only the body that is doing, that is acting. I know what my position is. So it's not that I will stop doing the work. I will stop doing action. I'll stop taking responsibilities. No, responsibilities of the action will be taken. It is, but we will have that knowledge that body is doing every minute, every second, every millisecond of the time. You know, this is body and the soul. This is body, soul is different. The body is performing, soul has to be pure. My thinking should be pure. For example, the president of a country, he is responsible for the decision that whether his country should go into war or not, right? If he's okay, war against so and so country, he declares his, he passes on the bill, and that's how the soldiers will go and fight over there. But he does not fight over there. He does not go to the border and fight himself, right? So similarly, the soul is responsible for the action of a living entity, even though they are performed by body, mind, and intellect. President is responsible, even though he is not himself going and doing it. Similarly, soul is responsible, even though the soul is not doing it, but the body, mind, and intellect is doing. So what do we have to do? We have to have control over this mind, control over these senses. Now, what to do? How to do? We have to engage our mind. How to engage this mind? We have to engage this mind towards the Lord. Shift the focus from material things to service of the Lord. Yes, please, Aishwarya Mataji.
The sky, due to its subtle nature, does not mix with anything, although it is all-pervading. Similarly, the soul situated in Brahman vision does not mix with the body, though situated in that body. Hare Krishna.
Yes, does not mix with the body. Soul also will experience when we are sleeping, waking, when we are, sometimes we become very tired, whether we are energetic or what. It also experiences that because it is due to the ego that makes it think that it is identifying with the body. Ego starts identifying with the body. The soul starts identifying with the body. Oh, maybe I'm doing this. It starts identifying, though it's not the taste. So we may ask, that these changes in the body, why the changes in the body in which it resides, it does not pollute the soul. It should pollute the soul, right? Whatever changes in the body is happening. Why doesn't it taint or blemish or pollute the soul? It's like the shloka over here explains to us like this. It's like this. The air will enter into the water also. The air will enter into the mud also. The air will enter into our potty, which is stool. And whatever else is there, it enters into everything, right? But still it does not mix with anything. Similarly, the soul, the living entity, even though it is situated in varieties of body, it goes into very different bodies it goes into, but it is aloof from them due to its subtle nature. How air does not mix with anything. So it's not possible for us to see the soul with this kind of material eyes. We don't have that jnana chakshu, right? So we don't even know how this soul, it gets into this body, how this soul is getting out of this body. We do not know. We do not know because we have this material eyes and not jnana chakshu. We need to have the eye to see the eye. Yes, please, Jhuma Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Also in the Bharata, as the sun alone illuminates all this universe, so does the living entity, one within the body, illuminate the entire body by consciousness. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Sun is in one place, right? It's not going around, coming inside the house, but it's illuminating the whole universe, right? It comes inside our house also through the window. It's coming, the illumination. Similarly, the small particle, the spirit's pole, it's so small, it is situated in the heart of this body. It is illuminating the whole body by its consciousness. What's the proof that there is consciousness? What is the proof? How do we know there is consciousness? Because of the presence of the soul, right? So the consciousness is the proof that the soul is present, or the sunlight or the light is the proof that sun is present. When the soul is present, what happens in the body? There is consciousness. Body is active. Body is doing some action. The moment the soul will go away from my body, the body is lifeless. There is no more consciousness. We won't be able to do anything, right? This is very easy. Any intelligent person will understand this. But the super soul, which is present in all the bodies, he is the friend. So Hurdam Sarva Bhutanam. He is conscious of all the bodies. He is the best friend. He's the only best friend of us. We don't consider that, but he is the only best friend. He is conscious of all the bodies. So now we know there are three: super soul, and body, right? Soul, what happened when it starts desiring, it starts desiring when it comes in contact with that material nature. And then as a result, karma is created. And as soon as we get some kind of karma, we get shackled into this law of karma. And then again and again, we take up this body cycle continues. Yes, please, Sonali Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Those who see with the eyes of knowledge the difference between body and the knower of the body can also understand the process of liberation from the bondage in the material nature, attain to the supreme goal. Attain to the supreme goal.
Supreme goal.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. In a beautiful style, in a wonderful style, in Lord Krishna's unique style, his usual style, he is winding up the topic of about the field, the body, the knower of the field, the soul, and the super soul. How does he doing? He is trying to sum it up. How? He says, what is true knowledge? True knowledge means we should be able to distinguish this. We should have that distinction between the material kshetra, which is the body, and the spiritual kshetrajna, which is the knower of the body, which is the soul and the super soul, right? We need to understand that. The moment we understand that we have souls, we are mamevamsho jiva loke, which we are the part and parcel, the sparks of Lord. We are part and parcel of God. We should get away from this Maya. Then we will actually reach the ultimate goal. And what is that? The destination of God realization. We will reach over there. So, positive engagements, it's easier and simpler, right? And definitely better than these artificial controls that we have. So we should move towards this positive engagements, which is at the lotus feet of the Lord. It's easier also and very simple, not much. Outside world, if you go, you have to have artificially you have to engage yourself in so many things. You don't even want to do that. Hari Bol. So let's see the summary of this chapter. Intelligent questions asked by Arjuna, right? He asked 6 questions. What is material nature, soul, super soul, body, knowledge? What is the goal of that knowledge? Then he also, what else he asked? There was a body, soul, super soul equation that we learned about. Then knowledge, how to gain it. So what was the most important quality that we need to learn is constant and unalloyed devotion. Bhakti is very, very important, right? In anything that you do, bhakti has to be added. Essential quality is to accept the bona fide spiritual master, and other important qualities starts with humility, non-violence, self-control, detachment. There were total 20 qualities that we need to develop in order to move as a devotee. Then there was soul and super soul. Then attributes of super soul was all pervading, origin of senses, it is undivided, resides in the hearts of all. And attributes of soul is, it is eternal and subordinate to Krishna, and it belongs to the spiritual world. We are part and parcel of the Lord. About the enjoyer. So how to reach perfection? We should live, how to live? We should live the same boss, make Krishna our boss, right? Then what are the qualities of the material nature? Qualities of soul and super soul is what we learned. And then we also learned about Jnana Chakshu, divine, how to acquire Jnana Chakshu is by gaining the knowledge about understanding about different elements of the body. And then we should be able to know the difference between this body and the soul. And then we should have that equal vision, see supreme soul in everyone. And we need to have control over this mind and senses as well. So if we do that, what is our destination? Destination will be, we will be able to have self-realization and go back to our permanent abode, which is Golokadham. So we see that Arjuna's 6th question, Etatve with Michami, Jnanam Jnayam Chakeshava, description of Kshetra, Kshetrajna, and Jnana, Kshetragyam Chapi Mam Vidhi, Sarva Kshetreshu Bharata, processes of acquiring knowledge, Mai Chananya Yogena, Bhakti Ravya Vicharini, Jnayam, object of knowledge, Sarvata Panipadam Ta, Sarvato Kshishiro Mukham, Prakriti Purusha Union, Karanam Guna Sangosya Sadasagnyoni Janmasu. Vision of knowledge is Kshetra Kshetrajna Yorim Antaram Jnana Chakshusha. We need to have that. So in tomorrow's chapter, chapter 14, we will be learning about these three modes of material nature: goodness, passion, and ignorance, and how it is influencing our soul, conditioned soul, right? It will be Prakriti Guna Traya Vibhaga Yoga. Panchakalpatarubhyashta kripa sindhubhya cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you.